The space station looked like a giant metal flower floating in the darkness. Earth hung below it like a blue marble, and thousands of stars sparkled all around. Ambassador Taemin stood at the big window in the main hall, watching a strange ship come closer. His hands were a little sweaty, but he tried to look calm. "They're here," said Dr. Sora, walking up behind him. She carried a tablet full of notes about the aliens they were about to meet. The Vectar ship just sent their docking request. Taemin nodded. Today was the most important day in human history. For the first time ever, aliens were coming to meet humans face to face. Not just any aliens either. The Vectar were famous across the galaxy. They could read minds and had helped solve fights between different alien races for thousands of years. "Are you ready?" Sora asked. She looked nervous too, even though she had studied alien behavior for years. "As ready as anyone can be for meeting mind-reading aliens," Taemin said with a small smile. The docking bay was huge and bright. Security Chief Dongwu had his team standing around the edges, but their weapons were hidden. Earth's leaders wanted to look friendly, not scary. About 20 humans waited in a neat line, all wearing their best uniforms. A deep sound came from the speakers. "Alien ship harmony is now connected," said the computer voice. Everyone got quiet. Taemin could hear his own heart beating. The big metal door at the end of the bay started to open with a soft hissing sound. The first alien stepped through, and Taemin forgot to breathe for a moment. The Vectar was tall, maybe 7 feet, with skin that looked like glass. You could almost see through it, and strange colors moved underneath like slow lightning. Its head was bigger than a human head, with huge eyes that had many parts like a fly's eye, but beautiful. It wore flowing robes that seemed to move on their own. More aliens came through the door behind the first one. They all moved like they were dancing, smooth and graceful. Their feet barely made any sound on the metal floor. The lead alien stopped about 10 feet away from the human group. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music mixed with wind. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Velnash, speaker for the Vectar Council. We come in peace and friendship." Taemin stepped forward. His mouth felt dry, but he kept his voice steady. "Welcome to our space station. I am Ambassador Taemin, speaking for all humans. We are honored to meet you." Velnash tilted its head in what might have been a nod. "Your species has grown much in a short time. We have watched from far away as you reached for the stars. We hope to learn from you," Taemin said. "Your people are known throughout the galaxy for their wisdom." Something that might have been a smile crossed Velnash's strange face. "Wisdom comes from understanding. We understand through the touching of minds. It is our way of greeting, of knowing truth from lies, of seeing the heart beneath the words." Dr. Sora moved closer to Taemin. She had read about this in her research. The Vectar always did a mind touch when they met new people. It was how they made sure everyone was being honest and peaceful. "We would be honored to share this greeting with you," Taemin said. Velnash stepped forward, raising one long, thin hand. Its fingers were longer than human fingers, with what looked like small crystals at the tips. "May I touch your thoughts, Ambassador Taemin? It will not hurt. We have done this with hundreds of species across many worlds." Taemin felt his heart speed up, but he nodded. "Yes, I understand. Please go ahead." The other humans watched quietly as Velnash came closer. The alien was much taller up close, and those huge eyes seemed to look right through Taemin. But there was something kind in them, something gentle. "Think of peaceful things," Velnash said softly. "Think of why you want friendship between our peoples." Taemin closed his eyes and thought about Earth. He thought about children playing in parks, about families having dinner together, about scientists working to cure diseases. He thought about how much humans wanted to learn and grow and be part of something bigger than themselves. Velnash reached out slowly. The crystal tips of its fingers were just inches from Taemin's forehead. Everyone in the room held their breath. The moment the alien's skin touched Taemin's skin, everything went wrong. Velnash's huge eyes went wide with what looked like terror. Its mouth opened and a sound came out that no human had ever heard before. It was like a scream mixed with the sound of breaking glass mixed with the cry of a dying animal. The sound was so loud and so awful that several humans covered their ears. The alien stumbled backward, its hand pulling away from Taemin like it had been burned. But the screaming didn't stop. Velnash kept making that horrible sound, its whole body shaking. The other Vectar rushed forward, trying to help their leader. Then Velnash fell. The tall alien crashed to the floor like a tree falling down. The screaming stopped. Everything went quiet except for the sound of the alien's body hitting the metal floor. Medical team to Docking Bay 1. Dr. Sora shouted into her communicator. Emergency! We need medical team now. Dongwu and his security team moved closer, but they didn't know what to do. Taemin stood frozen, staring at the alien on the floor. What had just happened? What had he done wrong? The other Vectar gathered around their fallen leader. One of them looked up at the humans with anger in its strange eyes. What have you done? It said in a voice full of fear and rage. What have you done to Velnash? Dr. Sora knelt down next to the alien, pulling out her medical scanner. The device beeped and flashed as it checked Velnash's body. I don't understand, she said. All the readings show the alien is alive, but its brain activity is strange. Taemin finally found his voice. I didn't do anything. I just thought peaceful thoughts like you asked. I would never hurt anyone. But the Vectar didn't believe him. They picked up their leader's still body and started moving back toward their ship. This meeting is over, one of them said. We will report this attack to the Galactic Council. Wait. Taemin called out. Please. It wasn't an attack. Something went wrong, but we can fix it. The aliens didn't listen. They carried Velnash through the door and back to their ship. Within minutes, the Harmony was pulling away from the space station. Taemin sat down heavily in a nearby chair. His hands were shaking. The most important day in human history had just become the worst day in human history, and he had no idea what had gone wrong. 3 hours later, Dr. Sora was still trying to understand what happened. She sat in her lab looking at the scanner readings from when Velnash collapsed. The numbers made no sense at all. Her research partner, HFY, came in carrying a cup of coffee and looking worried. Any luck figuring it out? She asked. Nothing, Sora said, rubbing her tired eyes. I've never seen brain readings like these. It's like Velnash's mind was hit by lightning or something. Meanwhile, in the communication center, Ji-hoon was listening to messages from the Vectar ship. The aliens hadn't left completely. Their ship was still nearby, but they weren't talking to humans anymore. Instead, Ji-hoon was picking up their own language on his listening devices. What are they saying? Asked Captain Woo-jin. He had been trying to contact the alien ship for hours, but they wouldn't answer. Ji-hoon looked pale. It's not good. Velnash is awake, but something is very wrong. They keep saying the same words over and over. What words? The storm. The infinite chaos. How do they survive it? Ji-hoon looked up from his translation computer. And they keep asking, how do they live with so much noise in their heads? Woo-jin frowned. Noise? What kind of noise? Before Ji-hoon could answer, Sora's voice came over the speakers. Captain Woo-jin, please come to Medical Lab 3. Bring Ambassador Taemin. We need to run some tests. 20 minutes later, Taemin was sitting on a medical table while Sora attached small devices to his head. He felt nervous and guilty. Everyone was being nice to him, but he knew they were all thinking the same thing. Somehow he had hurt the alien. These sensors will measure your brain activity, Sora explained. I want to see what's normal for a human mind. Maybe that will help us understand what went wrong. HFY was working at a computer nearby. The Vectar have been telepathic for thousands of years, she said. Their records show they've made mental contact with over 200 different alien species. Nothing like this has ever happened before. So it's definitely something about humans, Taemin said sadly. Maybe, Sora said, but maybe it's not your fault. Maybe there's something about human minds that's just different. She turned on the brain scanner. Immediately, the screen filled with colorful lines and numbers. Taemin's brain activity looked normal to him, but Sora and HFY both stared at the screen like they were seeing something amazing. Wow, HFY whispered. Look at all that activity. What do you mean? Taemin asked. Your brain is doing so many things at once, Sora said. Most alien species we've studied have much simpler brain patterns. They think about one thing at a time, in order, like following a straight line. But my brain what? It's like watching fireworks, HFY said. Thousands of thoughts and ideas all happening at the same time. Before they could study the readings more, Captain Woo-jin's voice came over the speaker. Medical lab, we have a situation. The Vectar ship is sending a message. They rushed to the communication center. On the big screen, a Vectar face appeared. It wasn't Velnash, but another alien who looked angry and scared. I am Keth Mira, second speaker of this delegation, the alien said. We demand to know what weapon you used against Velnash. We didn't use any weapons, Woo-jin said quickly. We want to help. Please tell us what happened to your leader. Velnash is damaged, Keth Mira said. The alien's voice shook. In 10,000 years of mind touching, Nothing like this has ever happened. Velnash's mind was nearly destroyed by contact with your ambassador. Timon stepped forward. I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone. Please let us help. Help? Kethmira's eyes grew wide. You humans don't understand. Velnash is one of our strongest mind readers. If your thoughts can hurt Velnash, then humans are dangerous to all telepathic species. What exactly did Velnash experience? Dr. Sora asked. Kethmira was quiet for a moment.
Velnash says your ambassador's mind was like trying to look directly at a star.
Too bright, too much, too chaotic. Velnash's brain couldn't handle all the noise. Noise? Timon repeated. Your thoughts don't follow normal patterns, Kethmira explained. Most minds think in straight lines, one thought leading to the next. But humans, the alien shuddered. Humans think in storms. Sora and Haywan looked at each other. This matched what they had seen on the brain scans. Would you be willing to try again? Sora asked. Under controlled conditions? We could monitor everything and stop immediately if there's any problem. Absolutely not, Kethmira said. We will not risk another Vectar. Then how about a different kind of test? Haywan suggested. What if we could reduce human brain activity somehow? Make it quieter? Kethmira thought about this. Perhaps, but only if we can guarantee safety. Over the next few hours, Sora and her team worked with the Vectar to design a safe experiment. They would use special equipment to dampen Timon's brain activity, making his thoughts slower and quieter. Another Vectar named Zilthara would attempt a very brief mental contact, while both beings were monitored by medical equipment. Timon wasn't sure about the idea. What if something goes wrong again? We'll only try for 1 second, Sora promised. And we'll have devices ready to break the connection immediately. As they prepared for the test, Jihoon brought more news from his translations. The Vectar are talking to their homeworld, he reported. They're asking for advice about what to do with humans. What kind of advice? Wu Jin asked. Whether humans should be classified as a dangerous species. The weight of those words hit everyone in the room. If the Galactic Council decided humans were dangerous, Earth might be cut off from the galaxy forever. Or worse. We have to make this test work, Timon said. It's not just about me anymore. It's about all of humanity's future. The test was set up in the medical bay. Timon lay on a table with dozens of sensors attached to his head. The brain-dampening device hummed softly above him. Nearby, Zilthara waited nervously, also connected to monitoring equipment. Remember, just 1 second of contact, Sora said. The moment we see any problems, we'll stop everything. Timon nodded. The dampening field made him feel strange, like his thoughts were moving through thick honey. But maybe that was good. Maybe slow thoughts wouldn't hurt the alien. Zilthara approached carefully. Are you ready, human? Ready, Timon said. The alien reached out one finger and barely touched Timon's forehead. Even with the dampening field, Zilthara jerked back immediately. The alien's eyes went wide with shock, but this time there was no scream, no collapse. What did you see? Sora asked quickly. Zilthara stared at Timon like he was some kind of monster. Even dampened, even slowed down, your mind is still like a hurricane. How do you live with all that chaos in your head? Timon blinked. Chaos? It doesn't feel chaotic to me. It just feels normal. And that's when Dr. Sora realized they had discovered something incredible about human beings. Dr. Sora couldn't sleep that night. She kept thinking about what Zilthara had said. Humans lived with chaos in their heads, but it felt normal to them. What did that mean? She was still awake when Velnash finally agreed to talk to the humans. The alien leader was better now, but still weak. They met in a small room with soft lighting that was easier on Velnash's sensitive eyes. Yu Jin, the station's best language expert, sat between them to help translate the harder concepts. Velnash spoke slowly, like someone who had been very sick. I have touched the minds of many species, Velnash began. Krillian warriors with their simple, focused thoughts. Thessian philosophers with their careful, organized ideas. Malarian artists with their gentle, flowing creativity. All different, but all quiet, and humans? Sora asked. Velnash's whole body shivered. Your ambassador's mind was like standing in the center of a thunderstorm. Not one thought, not 10 thoughts, but thousands, all happening at the same time, all connected to each other in ways that made no sense. Yu Jin leaned forward. Can you be more specific? What kinds of thoughts? Everything, Velnash said. In one moment, your ambassador was thinking about peace between our species, but also about a song his mother used to sing. and about mathematical equations, and about the color of Earth's sky, and about something called pizza that made him hungry, and about fear that he might fail his people, and about wonder at meeting aliens, and about a book he read when he was young, all at the same time. Sora felt excited. This was exactly what human brain scans showed, but she had never thought about how it would feel to someone else. Most species think in lines, Velnash continued. One thought leads to the next thought, which leads to the next. Like walking on a path. But humans think in explosions. Every thought connects to every other thought. It's beautiful and terrible and impossible. Research assistant Minho had been listening from the corner. Maybe that's why humans are good at solving complex problems, he suggested. We can think about many things at once. Velnash turned those huge eyes toward him. You don't understand. It's not that you think about many things. It's that you think about everything. Past, present, future, real, imaginary, logical, emotional, all mixed together in a storm that never stops. Later that day, Sora was working with engineer Hyunwoo to analyze the brain scan data when they made an amazing discovery. Look at this, Hyunwoo said, pointing at his computer screen. I compared human brain patterns to the alien brain patterns we have in our database. What did you find? Other species use about 12% of their brain capacity at any given time. They focus on one task and use just the parts they need. And humans? Humans use 78% of their brain capacity all the time. Even when they're sleeping. Sora stared at the numbers. That's impossible. How do we not go crazy? Maybe we did, said a voice behind them. They turned to see Taemin walking in. Maybe going a little crazy is what makes us human. What do you mean? Sora asked. Taemin sat down heavily. He had been thinking about his conversation with Velnash all day. I've been wondering why human thought seems so chaotic to the Vectar. Then I remembered something from history class. What? Earth has had a really hard history, right? Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, massive climate changes. Other planets where intelligent life developed were much more stable. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. So other species evolved in peaceful environments where they could think about one thing at a time. But humans had to survive constant disasters. Taemin continued. We had to be ready for anything. We had to think about food and shelter and predators and weather and social problems all at the same time, because any one of them could kill us. Sora felt a chill of excitement. So human brains evolved to handle multiple crisis situations simultaneously. Exactly. While other species developed efficient, focused thinking, humans developed survival thinking, chaotic but incredibly adaptable. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from Captain Wu Jin. All senior staff to the communication center immediately. When they arrived, they found Wu Jin looking worried. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session. They want to decide what to do about humanity. On the main screen, they could see dozens of different alien species gathering in what looked like a huge space amphitheater. Some aliens looked like giant insects, others like living crystals, others like beings made of light. Velnash was there too, looking much better but still weak. A creature that looked like a floating jellyfish with a crown spoke first. We are here to discuss the human situation. The Vectar report that human minds are dangerous to telepathic contact. Not dangerous, Velnash interrupted. Overwhelming. Like trying to drink an ocean. Another alien, this one looking like a walking tree, spoke up. If humans cannot participate in normal telepathic communication, how can they join galactic civilization? Most of our trade, diplomacy, and cooperation depends on mind-to-mind contact. A third alien, shaped like a metal spider, added, perhaps humans should be classified as a protected species. We could leave them on their planet and check on them occasionally. No, said a fourth voice. It was an alien that looked like a cloud of butterflies. If humans are truly so different, they might be dangerous. We should establish a quarantine zone around their star system. Sora felt sick. Humanity's first contact with galactic civilization, and they were talking about either treating humans like pets or locking them away forever. But then Velnash spoke again. I request permission to share what I learned about human consciousness. The jellyfish-like leader nodded. Speak, Velnash of the Vectar. Human minds are not chaotic by accident, Velnash said. They are chaotic by design. Every human thought connects to every other human thought. They do not think about one problem at a time. They think about all problems at once. That sounds exhausting, said the tree alien. It should be, Velnash agreed. But humans have learned to manage this mental storm. They have learned to live inside chaos and still function. Do you know what that means? The assembly was quiet. It means humans can solve problems that would break other minds, Velnash continued. Problems that require thinking about many different things simultaneously. Problems that require connecting ideas that seem unrelated. Problems that require both logic and creativity and emotion all working together. The butterfly cloud alien fluttered thoughtfully. Are you suggesting humans might be useful to galactic civilization? I am suggesting, Velnash said, that humans might be essential to galactic civilization. Dr. Sora looked at her colleagues. For the first time since this all began, she felt hope. Maybe being different wasn't a curse. Maybe it was a gift. But the debate was just beginning and humanity's future still hung in the balance. Admiral Kyung-soo had never been so nervous in his life. He stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber, representing all of humanity while hundreds of alien species watched him. Some floated in the air, others crawled on the walls, and a few existed as pure energy that made the air shimmer. Honored council members, he began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. I am here to speak for Earth and all human beings. The council leader, the jellyfish-like creature called High Arbitrator Quindala, spoke in a voice like singing crystal. Admiral Kyung-soo, your species has caused quite a stir. Before we make any decisions about humanity's place in the galaxy, we need to understand what you are. We are people, just like you, Kyung-soo replied. We think, we feel, we hope, we dream. We want to learn and grow and be part of something bigger than ourselves. A voice came from the metal spider alien in the front row. But your thoughts are chaos. How can we trust beings who cannot think clearly? That's when Dr. Subin stepped forward. She had been working day and night to prepare for this moment. In her hands, she carried the most important research of her career. Honored Council, may I present our findings about human consciousness? Quindala's tentacles waved in what might have been a nod. Speak, human scientist. Subin activated her holographic display. Images of brain scans and data charts filled the air above the council. What the Vectar experienced as chaos we call parallel processing. Human brains can run multiple thought programs at the same time. The display showed a comparison between human and alien brain patterns. The alien patterns looked like neat, orderly lines. The human patterns looked like beautiful, complex storms. Other species evolved on stable worlds, Subin continued. Your home planets had predictable weather, few natural disasters, and steady food supplies. Your brains developed to be efficient and focused because that's what you needed to survive. Murmurs rippled through the council. Many species were nodding in understanding. But Earth was different. Our planet went through ice ages, volcanic periods, asteroid impacts, and massive climate changes. Humans had to survive constant uncertainty. Our brains evolved to handle multiple crisis situations at once. A new voice spoke up. It came from an alien that looked like living water. You're saying human chaos is actually adaptation? Exactly, Subin said. While your species developed streamlined thinking, humans developed redundant thinking. We don't just think about what is happening now. We simultaneously consider what might happen, what should happen, what could go wrong, and what opportunities might appear. The tree-like alien from before leaned forward. But surely this makes you inefficient. All that extra thinking must waste energy. Subin smiled. Actually, it makes us incredibly efficient at solving complex problems. Let me show you an example. The holographic display changed to show a puzzle that had been troubling galactic civilization for decades. It was a mathematical problem about resource distribution across multiple star systems. This problem has been unsolved for 30 years, Subin said. Your best minds have worked on it using traditional focused thinking methods. Yes, Quindala confirmed. The Thessian mathematicians spent 5 years on it. The Krillian logistics experts tried for 8 years. No solution has been found. We gave this problem to a human university as a practice exercise, Subin said. They solved it in 4 hours. Shocked silence filled the council chamber. How? Demanded the metal spider alien. Human students approached it from 17 different angles simultaneously, Subin explained. They thought about math, psychology, sociology, physics, economics, and even art at the same time. They found connections that focused thinking missed. Back on the space station, Jae-sung the philosopher was watching the broadcast with the rest of the human delegation. As Subin finished her presentation, he stood up. I need to speak to the council. he said. Captain Woojin looked worried. Are you sure? This is going better than we hoped. Trust me, Jae-sung said. A few minutes later, Jae-sung's image appeared on the council chamber screens. Honored beings, I am Jae-sung, a human philosopher. May I add something to Dr. Subin's presentation? Quindala's tentacles swirled thoughtfully. Speak. Dr. Subin explained how human minds work, but not why this matters to you. Jae-sung began. For thousands of years, your civilization has grown and prospered by bringing together different species with different strengths. Some of you are great builders. Others are brilliant mathematicians. Others are wise diplomats. Nods of agreement came from around the chamber. But all of your species think in similar ways, Jae-sung continued. You all use focused, linear, organized thought patterns. You're all different instruments, but you're all playing the same type of music. What are you suggesting? Asked the butterfly cloud alien. Humans don't just play different music. We play different types of music entirely. When you hit a problem that linear thinking can't solve, you need chaotic thinking. When you face a challenge that requires connecting unrelated ideas, you need minds that naturally connect everything to everything else. The water-like alien rippled with what might have been excitement. You're saying humans could solve problems that our civilization cannot solve? We're saying we could solve problems you don't even know you have yet, Jae-sung replied. Velnash, who had been quiet during most of the council session, finally spoke. I have seen inside a human mind. It is terrifying and wonderful. They do not think about what is. They think about what could be. They do not accept reality as fixed. They constantly imagine ways to change it. Is this good or dangerous? Asked Quindala. Both, Velnash admitted, but mostly good. In my brief contact with Ambassador Taemin, I saw solutions to problems I didn't know existed. I saw possibilities I had never imagined. I saw hope for challenges that seemed impossible. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Hundreds of different alien languages created a symphony of debate. Some species seemed excited about the possibilities. Others appeared worried about the risks. Finally, Quindala called for order. The council will now deliberate. Humans, you will have our decision within one standard galactic day. As the transmission ended, the humans on the space station looked at each other with mixed feelings. They had done their best to explain what humanity could offer. Now they could only wait and hope. Taemin put his hand on Subin's shoulder. You did amazing. If they reject us after that presentation, it's their loss. But what if they do reject us? Asked Haewon. What if they decide we're too dangerous? Before anyone could answer, Velnash appeared on their communication screen. The alien looked much stronger now, almost back to normal. Humans, Velnash said, I have one more thing to tell the council. But first, I need to ask you something. Are you willing to take a risk that could change everything? Taemin stepped forward. What kind of risk? The kind that will prove once and for all that human chaos is humanity's greatest gift. 6 months later, Dr. Sora stood in the most advanced research lab the galaxy had ever seen. The human Vectar research station floated in space between Earth and the Vectar homeworld, a symbol of cooperation between two very different species. The neural dampening fields are working perfectly, reported Yunji, her new neurotechnician. We can now create safe telepathic contact between humans and Vectar. Sang-woo, the consciousness researcher, looked up from his work. Even better, we're learning incredible things about both species. Did you know that Vectar minds can store perfect memories going back hundreds of years, and humans can process creative connections that no other species can make? Sora smiled as she watched Velnash and Taemin work together at a nearby station. The two had become close friends and research partners. Through the dampening technology, they could share a limited mind link that allowed them to combine Velnash's perfect memory with Taemin's chaotic creativity. How is the Nexus problem coming along? Sora asked. The Nexus problem had stumped galactic civilization for over 200 years. It involved coordinating trade routes between 847 different star systems, each with unique needs, resources, and transportation challenges. Traditional focused thinking had produced solutions that worked for some systems but failed for others. See for yourself, Velnash said, gesturing to the holographic display. The display showed a three-dimensional map of the galaxy with thousands of colored lines connecting different stars. It looked like the most beautiful, complex work of art Sora had ever seen. We solved it, Taemin said, grinning. Not just the basic problem, but variations for population growth, resource depletion, new colony establishment, and even potential first contact scenarios with unknown species. How? Sora asked, amazed. Velnash provided perfect memory of every trade route attempt for the past 2 centuries, Taimin explained. Then I let my chaotic human brain look for patterns that linear thinking missed. I found connections between things like seasonal weather on farming planets and mining equipment needs on industrial worlds. The human mind sees relationships everywhere, Velnash added. Most species would consider this inefficient. But for complex problems requiring multiple variables, it is incredibly powerful. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from the communication center. Captain Bora's voice came over the speakers. Research station, we have an incoming priority message from the Galactic Council. Sora and her team rushed to the communication center. On the main screen, High Arbitrator Quindala appeared, along with representatives from dozens of alien species. Human researchers, Quindala began. We have been monitoring your work on the Nexus problem. Your solution has been tested and verified. It will revolutionize galactic trade and save billions of credits in transportation costs. Thank you, Arbitrator, Sora replied. We're pleased we could help. This success has led the Council to make an important decision, Quindala continued. We are formally inviting humanity to join galactic civilization, not as junior members but as creative problem-solving specialists. Sora felt her heart leap. This was better than they had ever dreamed. What does that mean exactly? Asked Taimin. An alien that looked like a crystal tree answered. It means when we encounter problems that traditional thinking cannot solve, we will ask for human assistance. You will be our specialist in chaotic, creative, multi-dimensional problem-solving. The butterfly cloud alien added. Already, 17 different sectors have requested human consultation teams. The Architect Guild wants help designing buildings for unstable planets. The Terraform Council needs solutions for complex atmospheric problems. The Conflict Resolution Department wants human mediators for 3-way territorial disputes. And, said a new voice, the Deep Space Exploration Division has a very special request. The speaker was an alien Sora had never seen before. It looked like living starlight in a vaguely humanoid shape. Who are you? Velnash asked. I am Zeftari of the Voidwalkers. We explore the empty spaces between galaxies, searching for new life and new civilizations. It is dangerous, lonely work that requires minds capable of handling constant uncertainty and unlimited possibilities. Taimin stepped forward. You want human explorers? We want human minds, Zeftari replied. The galaxy is vast and full of challenges we cannot imagine. Linear thinking can only take us so far. To truly explore the unknown, we need minds that thrive in chaos. Captain Bora, who had been quietly listening, suddenly spoke up. My ship and crew volunteer for the first mission. Bora, Sora protested. We don't even know what's out there. Exactly. Bora grinned. That's what makes it perfect for humans. Over the following weeks, the first joint human-alien exploration fleet was assembled. The human ship Endeavor was equipped with advanced alien technology, while alien ships were staffed with human creativity consultants. The day before departure, Velnash and Taimin stood together in the observation deck, looking out at the fleet of ships preparing to leave. Are you nervous? Velnash asked. Terrified, Taimin admitted, but also excited. For the first time in human history, we're not alone in the universe. You were never alone, Velnash said. You just didn't know it yet. What do you mean? Velnash's huge eyes reflected the starlight. In all my years of touching alien minds, I have learned something important. Every species in the galaxy has felt alone at some point. The Krillians felt too aggressive. The Thessians felt too logical. The Malarians felt too emotional. Each species thought they were strange, different, wrong. But when we all came together, we discovered that our differences made us stronger. The Krillian aggression became protective courage. The Thessian logic became wise guidance. The Malarian emotion became compassionate healing. Taimin understood. And human chaos becomes creative problem-solving. Yes, what you thought was your weakness is actually your greatest strength. You just needed the right context to see it. As the exploration fleet prepared to depart, messages poured in from across the galaxy. Alien species that had been afraid of human mental chaos now saw it as a precious resource. Problems that had seemed impossible for thousands of years were suddenly solvable. The metal spider aliens requested help with architectural puzzles. The living water beings wanted assistance with flow dynamics. Even the energy beings asked for human input on consciousness research. On Earth, schools began teaching galactic problem-solving and creative chaos management. Human children learned that their wild, scattered thoughts weren't a flaw to be fixed, but a gift to be developed. Dr. Sora received the final transmission before the fleet's departure. It was from a young human student on Earth. "Dr. Sora," the student said, "my teacher told us that humans think differently from aliens, and that's why we're special. Is that really true?" Sora smiled as she recorded her response. "Yes, it's true. But here's the important part. Every species thinks differently. That's what makes the galaxy such an amazing place. The Vectar remember everything. The Krillians focus intensely. The Thessians organize perfectly. And humans create connections. What does that mean for us? It means the universe is full of problems waiting to be solved, mysteries waiting to be unraveled, and discoveries waiting to be made. And some of those challenges can only be handled by minds that think like storms, dream in chaos, and find patterns in impossibility. Like human minds? Exactly like human minds." As the transmission ended, Sora watched the exploration fleet jump to faster-than-light travel. In a few months, they would be exploring areas of space that no one had ever seen before, solving problems that no one had ever imagined, and proving that sometimes the strangest minds make the best explorers. The alien who had touched the human mind and shrieked in terror now worked alongside that same human to push the boundaries of galactic knowledge. What had begun as humanity's most embarrassing first contact had become its greatest triumph. In the end, being different wasn't a curse or a gift. It was simply human, and in a galaxy full of different species working together, being human was exactly what the universe needed.